All right, we'll just get straight into it today. We've got the monthly close that's starting to approach us. Been playing with a couple different ideas with Bitcoin. As you guys have been hopefully seeing in the chart updates channel. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good at the moment. Not not safe yet. Definitely not safe from making another low. Um, in order to get to that bit of safety, we need to take out the prior high, which comes in at around 70k. That's this high up here after we had the 53k low back in the start of July. So, we do have another leg up to come. Hopefully, we have another leg up to come. If you follow Elliott wave patterns, we should be in a wave 4 at the moment. And as we know, wave 2s and wave 4s are your pullback zones. So this was a wave 2 back here. And now we're doing the wave 4. It's not to say that the 5 waves of an Elliott wave has to play out every time. There is invalidation of that. And so the invalidation for this would be if this wave 4 gets below the wave 2, which is a long way off. So we look for warning signs, and for me, the first warning sign would be getting some closes below 6,500, which suggests that this is more corrective as opposed to impulsive. And we're going to be heading back lower. And you guys may have seen I also posted this parallel channel yesterday as well, which is just another bearish idea. I just like to be open to bearish ideas. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but we need to just be aware of it and open to it. Hey, Starseed, do you mind putting your mic on mute, please? I think it might be you. Thank you. The parallel channel, it's literally just drawn from these two lows into this high. There's no other confluences for it. It is a fairly early on in making the channel or producing the channel. So we'll just have to see how it reacts up here at the top of the channel to see if it is being respected or not. If it gets above it, then we start looking to the top of the original channel that we've got. And I'll just hide this one. So, and I'll go out to daily. That's the entire range channel that we've got. And we only just got a daily close out of it back on that big drop down of 49k, but popped straight back in. Respected it completely, which is good to see. So I've been posting a little bit about the stochastic RSI tool. I might just see if I can jump into here, so we can just have a bit of a look at it. So the blue line is called the D line, and the yellow-orange line is, from memory, I believe it's called the W line. And what we're looking for is a cross of the blue line to the yellow line. And it can be crossing to the downside, crossing to the upside. But typically when you get a cross and then like a close, that time frame has a candle after the fact and it remains crossed, that's a confirmation. And when you have that cross, that suggests that there's going to be some sort of change of trend. So if it's been going up, and it crosses and you get a confirmation cross, it's likely to have some sort of pullback, and vice versa. If it's been going down and you get a cross to the upside and it confirms, then it's likely to reverse and start going up. So I'm on the 12-hour chart here, and the 12-hour chart actually works quite well with this indicator. It wasn't so much through that sideways choppy range from, say, here over to here. In saying that, we did get the cross right there to the upside, and we have been seeing up, but it's not really any big moves. We only really got the big move. I think it was on Friday, perhaps. But now we're getting the cross to the downside, and this is where I was talking about. I think leading the first couple of days of this week has a potential to be red. Leading into the monthly close where we can pick up again. And what I'm just looking for is for this indicator to just reset, and ideally, price stays above the EMA 21 or 21 EMA, and then middle bolt Bollinger Band. If we go to the daily, we can see something similar happening here. It's hard to see it on the indicator, but you can see the figures a 95.36 and 96.22. So that suggests that we're in the process of crossing. If this daily candle closes below, or closes where it is right now, that'll be a confirmed cross, and that'll suggest that we should be seeing or expecting a couple of days of red. And again, we've got the 21 EMA sitting at around 61,300. So remaining above the 21 EMA is what we want to see here. If we go to the weekly chart, this is where it starts to get interesting, because now we've had a bullish cross on the weekly chart, and it happened after last week's close. So this is quite bullish from a longer term perspective. For the stock RSI to get from the bottom to the top does take a number of candles. It's not something that happens quickly, particularly the further out you get with the candles. And they oscillate 0 and 100. It's really 0 and 1, but I think to make things look a bit interesting, they multiplied it so it's out of 0 and 100. You really only want to see the crosses above 80 or below 20. Any of the crosses that sort of fall in between the range of 20 and 80, they hold a lot less, I suppose, strength or accuracy in a change of trend. They should really be taken with a grain of salt. But when we see the weekly, this is where I think we're due for a few good weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, but we're due for a few good weeks. Based on this, we saw something similar over here on the last cross. We got three green weeks, although this doji candle is barely green. It was green nonetheless before it turned back down, and we got it back over here where we got the big run up from 42k up to the all-time high, and then conversely, when it crossed to the downside, it then led into the sell-off that we've seen since the all-time high. So it is something that's fairly accurate and reliable. We're going to some of the smaller time frames. So on the 4 hour here, this is looking like it wants to have a cross down here at the lows. We might get another few hours, maybe 12 hours or so of green potentially. We just want to see that confirmation of a cross. We're probably not going to get it on this upcoming 4 hour close, but leading into the daily close, if it's a green candle, on the 4 hour leading into the daily, this will probably get a bullish cross on it. So during the Asian market leading into the London markets, we might get a little bit of a rally, but for me, I think it would be more of a bearish rally, just given what we're seeing on the 12 hour and daily charts. On the 1 hour, it's on a bit of a grind up, but still plenty of room to move to the upside. You can even go as low as a 15-minute chart. So it's selling off for now, but we're getting crosses in the middle of the range, so it really should be taken with a bit of a grain of salt, this one. So that's a little bit about stock RSI. Okay, Ringo, good to see you. It's all good. We might jump into some Bitcoin dominance because it's going nuts. I didn't see that when I got up this morning. Okay, so we're going on to new highs now. It's actually literally just breaking out. So it's still playing within the purple box that I've had here for forever. It's just doing its thing. It's putting in high lows and high highs consistently since it got its breakout. Here at 57%. Even after it had its pullback, it's just been up and up and up and up. It does get a bit long in the tooth, consistently talking about the dominance and how it has been going up. But it's important to not get complacent with it. It is going to turn at some point. I know I keep talking about it, and it hasn't, but it will. And when it does, we'll all be so much better for it. I think once we break out of the range at that 72K, maybe 74K, past the all-time high, it should be capitulating, in my opinion. It's just a matter of when do we get that breakout? Are we ready yet? Is it going to be happening next month? Being September, or perhaps October. I'm a bit nervous about September because September is mostly a red month, and we've seen some pretty big gains across crypto and traditional finance as well. So for me, it sort of tells me that they're pricing in rate cuts, and if for some reason the rate cuts that are expected don't come, it could be it could explain could be there could be a bit of blood on the streets. I've been keeping tabs on what the expectation is, if it's half a percentage point or a quarter. But if the expectation is for a half and only a quarter comes, we could actually see a bit of a sell-off around that middle of September. So, be interesting to see how that plays out, and whether September sticks to how it performs traditionally, or there is a couple green September months in there, so it's not unheard of. It's just generally quite a poor performing month. But anyway, and there actually isn't any correlation with August or July either for September. So you really just got to take it on its face value. But we might jump into NIA. So NIA's had a decent push out of its lows. It got down to that $3 mark, got to a high of 520. So that's a fairly significant run. Now we're experiencing a bit of a pullback, as we're seeing with Bitcoin, and the dominance is rising as well. The pullback's fine. I think it'd be good to see it maybe come into this breakout that we had over here. I'd be comfortable with it coming back and retracing to around that $4.20 mark. We can go lower, but we don't want to see any closes below $4.20, because then it's starting to trade back in the accumulation range before the breakout, and that suggests that this was just a fake out, not a breakout. So whilst we can come back down here, we want to start seeing it get a reaction and pushing off. Bit similar to Bitcoin, we've got wave 1, pull back, wave 2, the long wave 3 up, and now we're sort of coming back for a bit of a pullback right now. We can get some shorter time frame. I think I've got the magnet on here. Sorry, let me just fix this up. Okay. An ideal area for near to bounce would be at either 50% or the golden pocket here. They both have shared confluence with horizontals. I'd say the golden pocket is actually probably a nicer spot for it to pull back to, because it does have confluence with not only the horizontal, but the peak of the accumulation zone, and it's, yeah, I think that would be a much. I'd feel a lot more comfortable if it was to pull back to either of these two fibs, or 50% level and fib, which is just drawn from the wave 2 low up to the wave 3 high. And if we got something that went like that, would be pretty super. I think a lot of it hinges on what does Bitcoin do, where does Bitcoin go. The dominance is going up. Bitcoin is, or should be, having a bit of a pullback. It's just a matter of how far does it go, because it's going to either really, really hurt the alts, or they may get out of it relatively okay. So this liquidation event over here, I struggle to see it getting broken any further. It's a bit like Bitcoin and 49K. I do struggle to see it going lower, but maybe that could also just be a bit of emotion coming through. Which is why I still do look at the bearish alternatives, because we have to try as hard as we can to have an impartial look at the markets and what they are doing. We might jump into Sweat, and if you guys want to suggest any coins that you'd like me to have a look at, after I've had a look at Sweat, we can see what they are. The Sweat's actually holding up pretty good, pretty good. I wouldn't say it's super, but it's going pretty good here. It's a long way off this accumulation period. It's a long way off this key horizontal, which I would say is arguably the most important horizontal I have on the Sweat chart. Um, it's below 50%, but we can work with that. That's okay. And it's also holding above this horizontal at 0.007. So for me, I think Sweat is holding up pretty good when you look at it in this isolated trading zone. It does look quite good and quite strong. Grand scheme of things, it's still showing weakness on this chart. Well, I suppose again, when you're looking at in isolation, it's okay, but when you zoom out is when you start to get into a bit of trouble here with Sweat. But we're trying to stay positive, but also a bit realistic at the same time. This foundation is really good to see. We don't want to see it fall back into this zone. It is having a little bit of a pullback that we see at the moment. So I think for now, the main goal for Sweat should just be to hold this low, because getting below this low any further sort of is falling back into this range. So as long as it sort of just keeps pace with Bitcoin, we should be looking okay and having perhaps a bit more of a bright Q4. So for Sweat, not too bad. I did want to take a look at Ton, actually. Yeah, no worries, Baltic. All right. this chart probably doesn't look. It's a little bit messy, but nonetheless. Had a pretty decent sell off from Ton. I'm actually thinking and toying with the idea of getting into a bit of a position, but in this zone here, probably closer to this 886 at around $5. Um, I'm gonna actually, if I do get a spot position of it, I'm gonna put a stop loss below this mark at $4.70, because if it does start going below there, I think it can have a pretty decent tumble. We'll go out to a weekly chart. If it does get below this low here, maybe if I do enter a position, I'll probably use the bottom of this wick as my stop loss. So essentially, if it does go below this point, I'll probably get stopped out and lose maybe 10% of my position, which is fine. But if it was to break below there, there is not a lot of structure protecting it from falling down to that $3 mark, $2.50 to $3 mark. So it's a bit of a degen move, but it's with safety. You're only risking 10%. I'm not going to be taking a large position in it. It's just a matter of, well, Con has been really strong. Has been a news dump. And I always think with news dumps, they can reverse just as quickly, and quite often do. Particularly, we saw it throughout last year and the bear market. When there was a good news story, we saw prices pump, and then they retrace the entire move. The exact same can happen in reverse. So, I'm more than happy to take that risk about getting into a position on Ton and just protecting myself with a stop loss. Because the last thing I want to do is see it start falling back into these old accumulation periods. Because there is no structure between the breakout and where it's been trading now. So, that's basically fresh air where it can just tumble really quickly. We might jump into CoinGlass. Have a little bit of a look in here. Right, so the 24-hour liquidations have actually picked up. I wonder if maybe have I missed a move on Bitcoin while we've been on stream? No, not yet. It is starting to getting ready to sort of have a leg down. It's actually a bit of a bearish close for this 4 hour, I think. Oh no, it's still within its realm. A bearish close would be if the body of the candle exceeded the wick of the previous candle, but it's still holding it for now. There's still another 5 minutes, so we'll check in before it's over. So with the 24-hour liquidations, for a decent change of trend where you're going to start looking to put in a significant high or a significant low, you really want the total liquidations should be bare minimum around 250 mil. Up around 500 mil is a lot better or stronger confluence to say that perhaps we're seeing a bit of a bottom or a top here. And we haven't really got that. Like, I think we got to about 160 mil, perhaps, was about as high as we got. But we can see in the overlay on this chart, it's probably a bit difficult. Maybe if I flip it sideways, no, it doesn't work. You can see when you've got the big wicks to the upside or to the downside. I'm talking about the green and red bars. Typically has a correlation with the price, which is overlaid in the yellow, starting to change direction again. And so that's really what I'm looking for, is to see some big green or yellow bars, green or red bars come in before we see a significant change in direction. The only other thing that sort of did grab my attention a little bit was how much BTC came into the markets on Friday. 250 mil is quite significant. It's the most that we've seen in uh, probably in almost 2 months, probably about 6 weeks. When we have seen massive inflows, again, that's had correlation with top in that rally. You can see the big green bars to the upside. It's got the price overlaid, which is in the yellow. Um, Typically, when you've got the two peaks or two biggest green candles, it's then led into a sell off. So we're still quite a way off what the the, the two highest are, but for what we've seen for the last month, it's been the biggest inflow. So that does have me a little bit concerned, I suppose. Was there anything, Star Ringo, that you guys would like me to sort of look at or cover off today? We do have this 4 hour close coming up in a second. Do you guys find the content that I post in the chart updates channel understandable, explained well? It's what you want to see, or you prefer to see something different? Yeah, we can take a look at Sol. No worries. Sol's doing okay. It's holding up pretty good in comparison to some of the other alts that we have seen. Yeah, so it's also sitting above its local 50% level. What doesn't look too great here, I'll have to turn the magnet off for this, is how we're sweeping this golden pocket and it's had a big rejection in the middle of it. So we can see it comes up, down, up. Generally, this is how we see interaction with the golden pocket happen or play out. When we hit, when we almost tap the 0.65 level, retraces below the 50% level, which we've seen here, and then comes back up and rejects off the 618, putting in a lower high. That's not the best. What is working um, in favour though is that we're not seeing as great a sell off. We can see here when it did get that big green bar up to the 0.65, we got some fairly significant red days that followed. We're not seeing that same amount of rejection um, come in here. So the fact that it's hanging out does suggest that maybe it can negate that lower high arrangement where you get the tap, the pullback, the lower high, and then the rejection. Maybe it goes like this, and then a little bit of sideways, and then we can start taking off again. The big thing is just holding this level at $151. If it can do that, that's going to be extremely bullish, I think. Sol has been definitely one of the strong coins, I think. Yeah. Whilst Bitcoin's having its pullback, if Sol can hold 151, I think that would be really, really good. We might check out Sol Bitcoin because I reckon it may have been gaining on Bitcoin. Yeah, the past 5 days it has been. The Sol Bitcoin's actually holding up pretty good here. Still in its uptrend. I know it's been a while since it's made a high, but it's in this parallel channel that's in a upward direction. So it's consistently putting in higher lows, which is what's important, particularly when we have Bitcoin dominance consistently increasing. Most alts are going down. Some alts are going to the side. Very little alts are actually gaining. One that is gaining as well as Sol is FET, I believe. So FET was going absolutely gangbusters through here. Massive pullback, but failed to sort of fall below this point. And now we've seen again some pretty strong days. Some pretty strong days here. We can see what that looks like on the USD chart as well. Yeah, so it's done a 2x from its low from the start of August, which not too many have done a 2x. Some have gone up, 65% or so. But Fetch is looking okay. For Fetch, wants to start getting above this top and these tops over here, that 150, 175 mark, to show it's just more confirmation of moving in that upward direction. Oh, we got the 4-hour close on Bitcoin. Yeah, that still looks okay to me. We might get a wick down here, but I'll be surprised if we get a body of a candle below 63K leading into the daily close. ETH, yeah, we can take a look at ETH. And then I reckon that might be the last one for us for today, Star. So this is a chart that looks a bit more bearish. You may remember I was talking about the body of the candle closing within the wick, or it's bearish if it closes past the wick. Ethereum has certainly closed past the wick in a big way. So it's definitely looking a bit more bearish here for Ethereum. But it's also got a bit more room to play with, I think, as well. It's coming into support here around that 2650 level. And then we've also got this 50% level down here at 2485 if there was to be a bit more of a serious pullback from Bitcoin. And then if we go to FBTC, see this chart's not looking the greatest. It's sort of coming into the last level of price support over here. That's that massive capitulation wick from the start of August. Breaks below here, we're going to start seeing this fall down a bit quicker. But I'm not sure if you saw or were in, I think it was in our last catch up, Starseed, where I was quoting or had watched something or read something rather from Benjamin Cohen, and he was saying that the FBTC low typically comes the month after. Sorry, I need to remember this correctly now. So for this month, we're breaking. We're closing below the range of where it has been closing. So what he was saying is, once you get that first monthly close below the range, the FBTC pair low typically isn't in. The low will come typically the following month. So that would suggest September. And it might just be a little bit. It could be a lot, and it's likely to just be a wick. But the crux of the story is that there's likely to be some more downside to come for Ethereum Bitcoin. Now that doesn't necessarily mean red for Ethereum USD. It may just mean, perhaps Bitcoin makes some gains and Ethereum falls a bit. Um, that is also an option as well. So it's just something to be aware of. Um, I guess as far as it comes to getting a position, it's a good time to get a position if things are starting to bottom out, which I think that they are as well. Um, whether it goes down a little bit more next month or not is really neither here nor there when you're going to have the upside come. And moves up to here is going to equate to a lot of dollars on USD on the USD valuation, particularly if Bitcoin's going up as well. So I think definitely in a fantastic um, short-term DCA zone. If you're looking to increase positions, I think it's in a prime position here. I think with that, guys, probably draws us to a close for today. I have posted up a number of future catch-ups or catch-ups to come over the coming weeks. So, I thought I'd try to give people plenty of notice for them. Something to be aware of. I'm going to be putting in a little bit of a competition for us all in premium. Nothing too serious. It's probably more just a bit of fun, if anything. But stay tuned to the premium announcements, so you can participate in that. No worries, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.